welcome to Quirky Books with Katie. Today I'm going to be doing my July wrap-up. Now, I know I usually do my wrap-ups and TBR together, but I have so many books to talk about each month, especially this month, that I thought it would be better if I did them separately so I'd have more time to talk about each of them. So my August TBR will be going up very soon. I promise. Okay, so in the month of July, I read 18 books, which is insane, but blame the booktubeathon and the fact that I don't really do anything else with my time. Yay me. But a book that I actually started in June and finished in July is The Maze Runner by James Dashner. Now this is a book about a futuristic, like, dystopian world where all these boys are being put in this maze and kind of being watched and forced to survive. Now, this book is very hyped. A ton of people love it. The movie just got finished shooting. Dylan O'Brien starring. I wasn't a huge fan of the book. I don't know what it was. It was really weird, and at certain times I just was, like, bored and confused, and I really didn't like it. But it was okay, so I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. So the first book that I read in the month of July is Pushing the Limits by Katie. This is a contemporary book told from 2 points of view. Noah, who is kind of the school outcast, bad boy, and Echo is a girl who has a lot of problems in her life. She used to be the most popular girl in school, but a bad event happened that she couldn't remember, and now she's an outcast, and the two of them fall in love. Now, this is not just your typical contemporary. This book was just amazing. I loved it so much, and I did a review, so I'll link that down below, but I would definitely recommend checking this book out. It was amazing. I gave it 5 out of 5 stars. Now, the next few books I read are all by Sarah Dessen. Like I said, I think in my June TBR, I was planning on doing a Sarah Dessen rereadathon sometime during the summer and reading some of my favorite books by her, so that's what I did for these. The first Sarah Dessen book I reread is Just Listen. Now, I'm not going to talk about a lot of these Sarah Dessen books too much because I have a video where I kind of describe my favorite quotes and what I liked about each, but amazing, 5 out of 5 stars. Next is Along for the Ride by Sarah Dessen, also 5 out of 5 stars. Next Sarah Dessen book I read is What Happened to Goodbye. Now, this isn't one of my favorites by her, but I still really liked it. I gave it 4 out of 5 stars. The next Sarah Dessen book I read is by far my favorite book by her. Sorry, you can't see the book with the lighting. And that is This Lullaby. Love this book. This is probably one of my favorite books of all time, period. And the last Sarah Dessen book I read is The Truth About Forever. I really like this one as well, as you can see by all of the bookmarked quotes. Love this book, 5 out of 5 stars. Like I said before, if you want to know more of my thoughts about the Sarah Dessen books, go check out the video that I will link down below. And the last book that I read before the booktubeathon is not actually a book, it's a novella. It's called Among These Nameless Stars by Diana Peterfreund. And this is a prequel to her series. I don't know what the series is actually called, but the first book is For Darkness Shows the Stars. And I really like this series. It's a series of retellings, but it's set in the future. And what I love most about this author is her writing. It's really gorgeous, and it brings me to tears every time. And this novella was decent. It wasn't amazing, but I still really liked it. I gave it 3 out of 5 stars. Quite a few books that I'm going to be talking about are the books that I read for the booktubeathon. If you don't know what that is, it was kind of a booktube community-wide readathon. And I did really well, so I will link either my wrap-up or the books that I read down below. And we'll get started on that. I'm not going to talk too much about these books either because I talked about them a lot in my daily update videos. The first book that I read for the booktubeathon is The Elite by Kiera. This is the second book in the selection series. I really had my issues with this book. I mean, I liked it, but everyone was just pissing me off. I was yelling at the book so much. I remember I was even sitting in the post office parking lot with my mom or something because she was inside and I was reading the book. I was yelling at it. The lady in the car next to me did not find that amusing, but this book was just, annoying. America needs to get her priorities right, and she finally did at the end, so it's okay. I give that book 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know if I like that or the selection better, actually. I don't know. The next book that I read for the booktubeathon is Glimmerglass by Jenna. This is a fairy book. There isn't too much unique about this book. I mean, I didn't really even like it that much. There was only even like one or two characters. Like, the main character was just annoying, and so was the love interest. If you don't have a good love interest, then no offense, but that really does not have me amused. I give this book 2 out of 5 stars. Now, my next book for the Booktubeathon was actually a reread for me, and that is Divergent by Veronica Roth. I really wanted to reread this because, especially with Comic-Con, there was all this buzz about the movie, and I read this when it first came out, so like a while ago, so I wanted to remember what happened. This is a futuristic book. If you haven't heard it enough, dystopian, society is divided into 5 factions, badass, action, awesome. Love this book. I loved it even more the second time around. You must read this series if you have not yet. It's so hyped. So excited for the movie. Next book for the Booktubeathon is The Book Thief by Marcus Zusak. Now, this book is on everyone's favorite list. They're like, oh, my favorite book is like The Book Thief and Fault in Our Stars. That's everyone's like top 2, and I understand why. This book is amazing. It takes place in the Holocaust, and it's about this little girl named Liesel, and she is, of course, the book thief, and she steals books. That's all I can really say without spoiling it, but this book was amazing. The writing was amazing, and the story was gorgeous, and the ending was great too. Love it. Highly recommend this, especially if you like historical fiction. Don't be alarmed by the huge size either. Next book for the Booktubeathon is We Will Always Have Summer by Jenny Han, and this is the last book in the Summer I Turn Pretty series. Now, I liked this book, but it was probably my least favorite in the series. I just felt like Jeremiah and Belly were just, they were not thinking clearly, obviously, and it took them until like the last like 5 chapters of the book to actually realize it, and I was just frustrated with this book, although the ending was very, very cute. Even though I predicted it, but it was still really good. 3 out of 5 stars. Now, the next thing that I read for the Booktubeathon is In Time by Alexandra Bracken. This is a novella in the Darkest Minds series. It comes after the Darkest Minds, but before Neverfade. This was such a great novella. Like, I swear this is probably the best novella I have ever read. It follows Zoo. I don't know if that's a spoiler or not. Oh, well, not really. But it follows Zoo, who's one of the minor characters in The Darkest Minds. She was my favorite character in The Darkest Minds. I loved her. And there's this guy that's a skip tracer, or he wants to become one, and he's trying to go around and find and pick up these kids. And the ending was so sad to this novella. I know a bunch of booktubers read it, and they cried. They cried. So good. 4 out of 5 stars. Go read that. Next for the Booktubeathon, I read The Program by Suzanne Young. Loved this book as well. This book takes place in the future where teen suicide is considered an epidemic, and if you show symptoms, you get sent to the program where you become a hollow shell of yourself. Now, this book was so freaking emotional for me. I just felt so sad the entire time, but I felt so bad for all of the characters, and this book was just amazing. Definitely one of my favorites of this year. And that freaking ending. Such a bad cliffhanger. You think you're in the clear, everything's happy, and that freaking epilogue. Can't wait till next year, till the next book comes out. I am so excited. So the next few books, the next like 2 books I'm going to talk about, I started for the Booktubeathon, but I did not actually finish them during the Booktubeathon. First is The Golden Lily by Richelle Mead. This is the second book in the Bloodline series, which is the spin-off to Vampire Academy. This was a really great book. I think I really love the Vampire Academy series, but as a whole, I think I like the Bloodline series better because each book is really good. In the Vampire Academy series, there's some books I don't like. The only word I have to say about this book is Sidrian. I ship them so hard, and the ending, so happy, and then freaking Sydney just runs off. Come on, Sydney. You like Adrian. Face it. Gave this book 4 out of 5 stars. Next book that I started for the Booktubeathon, but I did not actually finish until yesterday, is The Fifth Wave by Yancey. This book is so freaking overhyped. I apologize if you like this book, but I was not a huge fan. This is a futuristic alien invasion book, and basically when the aliens come, they try to wipe out the humans in 4 waves, and what happens in this book is the 5th wave. I really liked the main character, Cassie. I really liked her point of view. If the entire book was told from her point of view, I would have been happy. But now it throws in these other point of views, and it's really confusing, and the ending was just awful, and it's not a fan. 2 out of 5 stars. If you like this book, I apologize. It's just not a fan. So that wraps up what I read for the Booktubeathon. Now I only have 2 more books to talk to you guys about. The next book I read after that while I was on vacation is The Vincent Boys by Abbi Glines. This is a book about a girl who is dating this guy named Sawyer, and she also happens to be in love with his cousin Beau at the same time. And when Sawyer goes off on like this camping trip, Beau hooks up with her and all this crap happens. I didn't really like this book. I mean, it was cute, but that was the only good thing I had to say about it. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars. And the last book I read was an ebook, and that is Defiance by CJ Redwine. This book was really good. It was total badass. It is a futuristic book. I don't know if I'd call it a dystopian. It's listed as fantasy, but I don't think it's fantasy. It's about this girl named Richelle, and her dad goes missing and is pronounced dead, but she really wants to go find him. And because her dad dies, she has to have a protector, someone who takes care of her, and a guy named Logan becomes her protector, and there's history between the two of them. A few years ago, Richelle told Logan that she loved him, and he didn't say it back. So there's history there, a lot of badassery. The romance in this book's really good too. Recommend it, 3 out of 5 stars. Okay, so thank you guys for watching. Be sure to subscribe to my channel, and I will talk to you again soon.